Alright guys, today I want to talk to you about baits. It's been on my mind for a little bit. I get a lot of people asking me what is the best bait for catfish. And truth be told, it's not that simple. There's a lot of baits out there. There's a lot of baits on the market that you can buy. There's a lot of baits that are natural baits that you can use. And if you ask different fishermen, you're going to get a different answer. And there's a reason for that. What you have to do is you have to ask yourself a few questions to get the answer. If you ask a guy who's fishing up in the rivers, these big rivers, say, hey, what's the best bait for catfish? They're going to tell you, use skipjack or shad or, cut bait. Those are the answers you're going to get. But if you ask somebody else, you probably get a different answer. Now, you just saw me use a bait, and that's a prepared bait that I make. It's my chicken liver chum bait you guys have seen. And I've brought you guys a whole bunch of baits. I've got the clam juice bait. I've got the chicken liver chum bait. I've got the garlic worms. I've got the stink bait made with cheese. I brought you guys some dough baits. I don't make these baits up just to put videos out. I do it for a reason, because there's a reason for every bait. Now, what I want you to do is think about, where are you fishing? And what habitat is it? Is it a lake? Is it a river? Is it a pond? Is it a stream? And then go from there. Because you can't tell me that a fish that grew up at a hatchery eating pellet food all its life, that gets put in a pond and has never ever even seen a shad or a skipjack, is gonna target that. You can't tell me that. Now, I'm not saying they won't eat it, but they're looking for something familiar. They're looking for something that they know. If you go to a pond, let's say you have a little pond in your area that you're fishing, and you look around, a lot of times you're going to see ducks. And if you see ducks, you're going to see people with bread, loaves of bread or popcorn or stuff like that. And they're throwing these pieces of bread into the water, and the ducks don't eat all of it. Some of it sinks down. Well, what are these fish doing? They know that when the ducks are flapping around, splashing around, they know someone's feeding them. So these fish come along, they know there's bread down there. So in that scenario, bread could be the best bait. If you're fishing stock ponds, or like I said, these fish grew up on pellet food that they buy in 50-pound sacks, chances are if you make a dough bait with that, you're going to catch these fish, because that's what they know. Now, the clam juice bait that I brought you, I made that one because there's certain times of year that there's a lot of clams in the area that I fish. And when I catch these catfish that I'm pulling out, their bellies are full of, you could feel them, they're full of shells, they're full of clams. So at that particular time of year, that's what the fish are targeting. They're targeting those clams. There's another time of year when there's tons of crawfish, and I know that same thing, they're going to be targeting those crawfish. Another time of year when all these grasshoppers are all over the place, and that's what they'll be eating on. Midsummer, you hear all them bullfrogs croaking in the bulrushes. They'll be eating those as well. So take into consideration the area that you're fishing. What time of year is it? What food is abundant? What are they looking for? And go from there. Now, you're going to say something like chicken livers. Well, where does that fit in? Or stink baits? Okay. Look at it this way. Let's say you just had a meal. You just had a big steak dinner an hour ago. If someone comes up and asks you, hey, are you hungry? Say, no, I'm not really hungry. But you walk out into the yard, or you go to the park or something, and you smell someone cooking on the grill. You can smell it. Well, that smell triggers your brain saying, hey, that smells good, I want some of that. These are the baits that trigger that reaction in fish. You can go out there with cut bait, you can go out there with worms or whatever you're fishing with that's natural in the area. And if the fish aren't hungry, they're not hungry. And one trick I learned a long time ago is keep something in your tackle box or in your ice chest that's gonna wake them up. And that's what those baits do. You go out there, you're fishing, you throw in some cut bait, and you're not really getting any bites. Take some chicken liver, take some of that chum bait that I make, and throw it out there, and that scent will wake them up. And that's the purpose behind stink baits and blood baits and stuff like that. It gives them that reaction. So this is just my little video about baits. Always think about where you're fishing, what's being put into that water. You hear stories of, oh yeah, they caught a catfish on French fries, or they caught it whatever, you know. Well, chances are there's ducks there, people are feeding them French fries. These fish, they already recognize it, and that's what they're looking for. They're looking for French fries, bread, popcorn, whatever you're feeding these ducks, that's what they're looking for. If you take a piece of skipjack or a piece of shad and throw it into this pond, these fish are probably more likely to hit the bread, the dough bait, the bread balls, smash up some popcorn into your dough bait, whatever, something that they're familiar with, you know. So keep that in mind when you go out and you're fishing and you want to know what the best bait is. Look around the area that you're fishing. So as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.